this meeting to order, Shelby County Supervisors, on this Tuesday, October 17th. Any conflict of interest, anything on the agenda today, guys?
None.
Okay. Any changes to the agenda, Mark?
No, sir.
Motion to approve the agenda is presented.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Bryce, second by Charlie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Approval of the minutes of October 3rd. Any changes or corrections there, Mark?
No.
Motion approved. Second.
Motion by Charlie, second by Bryce to approve the minutes of October 3rd as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Claims for this past period. Had a chance to look them over.
Yes. No questions.
Any questions there? Motion to approve.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Bryce, second by Charlie. Approve the claims as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Recorder's quarterly report. Geraldine, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello again. Good morning.
Hello. Not a whole lot to report. This quarter, however, is a whole lot better than last quarter. And
Why is
it's, well, last quarter we were down.
I don't know, why do you think that was?
Why? Right now, there's more activity with real estate, which is kind of unreal because of the interest rates, but there is more activity with real estate. Revenue stamps are up again because of real estate. And the other thing that is up, and this is, compared to last year's, the same quarter, the other thing that is up is the registration of the recreational vehicles. And I think that has to do with the new law out there where they can kind of ride anywhere. So we've been doing a lot more of that, of registering the recreational vehicles. So that helps.
Which one is that under?
If you look where it says rivers, DNR, boats, snow ATV, the 1188 compared to the last was 663.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so that keeps going up.
Okay.
So other than that, we're really close for last year's. This quarter, we're within like $600. So it's a lot closer than what I reported last time. So right now, that's basically what we're doing. We're registering or renewing all the ATVs, ORVs, the snowmobiles, and all of that. That they all expire December 31st. So we're renewing that. We did send out reminder cards in September, so they can renew by mail or drop them in the drop box, or they can come in and renew them. It's very quick and easy. Still selling the hunting license, the tags, turkey tags, all of that. So that's going well. The one thing we did put all the historical information on the COT system. And the last time I was here, I reported that we weren't really quite happy with how that looked, because when he showed us how it was going to look and then how it turned out was not the same. So they have tweaked that. I really encourage you, all of you, and anybody out there to go on that, try to search, and let us know what you think, because we want to continue to work with COT so that it's very user-friendly, that people are able to use it. I mean, we've spent the money to do this. We want it to be something that people can really use. So anybody and everybody, go to that. It's the site is on the Shelby County website. If you go to the recorder page, the link is there. So we really encourage you to go to that and try it out and let us know what you think, so that we know what to tell them. If it's
Maybe you've been getting some positive feedback? Or
we have had some searchers, now said that they have gone there and have searched
feedback that
it.
you've been able to correct.
And so, yes, we have had, and that's why we talked to them, because people said, okay, we tried this and we just can't even, we can't find anything.
Not user-friendly. Huh?
Right.
Well, at
so,
the beginning.
Yes. So that's why we need people to really tell us what they think, so we can tell them, okay, you need to do this, you need to do this, because they're very willing to fix it any way we want it fixed. They said we want you to be happy.
Right.
So
well, it's got to be.
yeah.
Like you said, it's gotta be a
So
benefit.
I encourage everybody to please get on there
Okay.
and check that out and let us know what you think and what needs to be changed, so we can let them know.
Okay.
What records are on there?
We scanned all of the books in the recorder's office and all of the indexes in the assessor's office, all of the tract indexes there too.
Okay.
So everything is on there except there's a small period from like 1988 to 2000 that's on our computer. But otherwise, from 88 all the way back to the 1800s is out there. And all of the tract indexes in the assessor's office where you can go and go by legal and find, and you should be able to find if you have a legal or a book and page, or otherwise our records are by alphabet if you're searching that way. So, yeah, you aren't going to find birth, death, and marriage records on there, but anything having to do with land should be on there. So, other than that, we are going to be hiring a part-time person. I have someone leaving end of January, so we are going to be hiring a part-time person. So I will put that ad in the paper here in a couple weeks so we can start interviewing. I did also go through the county application that we have. I went with our HR attorney and they went through that with me and changed things, so I changed it and sent it to Mark and Melissa, so we have the changed one, what they approved. So we have that there too, so.
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah, you bet, you bet.
Yeah, it needs to be looked at once.
So that's all I
Okay,
got.
good luck there.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have a presentation from Family Crisis Center and funding requests. Jessica?
Kelsey.
Kelsey.
Well, Jessica's my boss, but
Okay.
do you want me up there? or where do you want
Yes,
me?
come on up here.
It's a hot seat, you know.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning.
All right, I do have a little handout.
So state your name again.
Kelsey Vandenberg.
Vandenberg, okay. So Family Crisis Center is located in Sioux Center?
Based in Sioux Center, but we cover through our different services, actually all 99 counties in Iowa.
Okay.
In Shelby County, particularly, the services we have are our call center, which is the one that covers the whole state. They take crisis calls from victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, any kind of crime, you know, attempted murders, shootings, stabbings, anything like that through the whole state.
Okay.
24/7, it's a free service, confidential service. They do also have a chat line, which is really nice, I think, for some survivors, especially maybe domestic violence, where they maybe are not in a safe place to make a phone call. And so that's a service that is available to Shelby County, but I think our bigger service that we see more clients with in Shelby County is our Homicide and Violent Crimes Division. So the Iowa Attorney General's office first created domestic violence services, and then they created separate sexual assault services, and then they realized we've got this whole group of people who are being drugged through the criminal justice system through the loss of a loved one to homicide, through attempted murders and assaults, and there's no advocate to help them. And so they created the Homicide and Violent Crimes Unit to kind of be that gap, or to fill that gap in between those other kinds of crimes that, it's really traumatic to lose a loved one in such a, extreme way, and then to have someone to just kind of walk through that with you to make sure that you know what you're doing and you know where you're going and where do you need to go in the courthouse. And our advocate couldn't be here with me today, but we actually have two who are assigned to Shelby County, Angela and Lindsay, and they just do a fantastic job. They do a lot of things like, if the family's going to be here, they'll try to find a place in the courthouse, call ahead and kind of say, like, is there somewhere that we can have the family kind of hang out so that they just kind of have somewhere to go. And a lot of times they're witnesses, right? So they can't be in the courtroom until a certain time. So they do a lot of things like that, and just kind of preparing the family for what to expect. And then as well as just kind of walking them through whatever happens,
Right.
Guilty, not guilty, whatever it is. I think they almost I kind of describe it too as I actually worked in the HOBC unit myself in Sioux City for several years. We're kind of like a translator between the victim and prosecution or law enforcement. So a lot of times the victim is just really caught up in everything that's going on, and they maybe can't always communicate their needs the best. And so if they can have a 45-minute phone call with us,
Right.
crying and saying, this is what's going on, we can then call law enforcement and say, in 2 or 3 minutes, here's what they need to know. What are you able to share with me? And then we can give that back to them. So I think they really play an important role in making law enforcement and prosecution's jobs easier. Because while those people get into those jobs because they want to help people, they don't have that 45 minutes to
Right.
sit on the phone with the crying victim like we do. So I think that's kind of,
It gives them support and helps them
Yeah.
navigate through the system.
right, yeah, just kind of that like soft person to hold your hand and
Right.
take you through it. So those are the services we have in Shelby County. I think one success story I would share, this one isn't from Shelby County because as you can see we don't have huge numbers in Shelby County, so I wouldn't want to be like outing anybody that we're serving in Shelby County, but we had a case in a different county where the survivor was attacked. It was a totally random thing, but they didn't know this at the time. They were just in a parking lot at a gas station. Someone came and held a gun to their head and told them to get out of the car. And then he got into the other side of the car instead, like trying to get out, and the person took off driving. And when he stopped, he assaulted him, and luckily he survived and everything. But then that person was let out on bond, and the victim understandably was really upset. He was like, is he gonna come after me? I don't know if he knows me, does he know my family? And so he had asked law enforcement if they could tell him more information, and the investigation was still ongoing, so like, no, we really, we can't share that. And he called his advocate and just said like, I'm not eating, I'm not sleeping, I'm so upset about this, and I just don't know what's going on. And so the advocate called that law enforcement officer and just said like, this is the only thing they want to know, like, was there a motive to this, or was it totally random? And the officer was like, oh, I didn't know that's all they wanted to know. He's like, yeah, no, it was totally random. We have no reason to expect that he would go after him again. It was just wrong place, wrong time kind of thing. And so then they were able to pass that on to the victim, and the victim felt so much better immediately. And it actually led to a better outcome for that prosecution, because the victim had been kind of hesitant because they felt like, no one's listening to me, no one cares about me and what I need here. And so after having that interaction, they were like, okay, like they do care about me, they do want to help me. And then they understood that, they couldn't share more because the investigation was ongoing, but that victim ended up having to testify, and it went really well, and it led to a better outcome because there was that bridge kind of between the victim and prosecution and law enforcement. So I think that's just a really good example of how that can play out in the best situation, but certainly they play a really important role in just kind of helping the survivor through that whole process. So
How are you funded now?
yeah, so we have a big mix of funding streams. Our overall budget is about 3.5 million. About 2.5 of that comes from grants specifically, and so obviously that's a lot of restricted funding. So we kind of have to come up with that extra million from other places, and we really try to shoot for unrestricted funding, or funding like this where, it's really easy for us to say like, we'll keep this in Shelby County, and that's no problem, because I think in my numbers here, I don't think it's on your paper, but it costs about $867 to serve one client.
Yep.
And then with our, it's in your letter,
Yeah.
perfect. And then in our call center, it's about $20.78
78 cents, yeah.
per call. So even though we only had 6 clients in HOVC and 2 clients in our other programs, which there are other programs that kind of cross into Shelby County, and then 10 phone calls, that added up to just over $7,000 in services last year. And so, asking for $750 is about 10.5% of what it cost us to serve Shelby County last year. So we really confidently can say that that money will stay here in Shelby County, and We actually just increased one of our staff members, Lindsay, from part-time to full-time as of October. So we're really hopeful that with that increased capacity that our numbers will grow in some of these more rural counties. They cover Potawatomi County as well, but we just really saw there was so much more need, you know, in these outlying counties too. So yeah, hopeful that next year those numbers will be bigger and better now that Lindsay's full-time and can really kind of commit to being.
See, I look at it the other side, I'm kind of glad the numbers ain't huge.
I know, it's a good news, bad news
Yeah, it
scenario.
is. It is.
Sometimes I go to counties, I'm like,
I'm glad
oh,
you're
we
there
spent.
for them,
Right.
but I'm glad we don't, isn't
There's not
needed every
such a
day.
need.
Right.
Sometimes I go and I'm like, yeah, we spent
But you don't see somebody
$50,000 on you
overlook
last
either.
year. And they're like, have we got a problem? I'm like, well,
Right. On the $750 request,
yeah.
we set aside on our opioid money, we got about 20% that, remember, we didn't designate towards. So I talked to Neil, asked him if he felt this qualified and we could use it for that, and he, very much so.
Okay.
So I guess my recommendation would be to award that gift and use it out of our opioid fund. But that's just a suggestion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I do too.
Marcus?
Yeah, I think that would qualify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, the need's there, you know,
Absolutely.
and please report back to us
Yeah, absolutely.
next year, see how things are going, and we'll look at these numbers again.
Yeah, wonderful.
We need a motion to approve.
Yes, we do.
I'll make that
Do
motion.
you have any other?
No, unless
Okay.
you've got more questions for me.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the $750, and then we take that out of our opioid
Yeah,
on
I'll
the
make
count?
that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Charlie, second by Bryce. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you very much,
Thanks.
guys.
Okay,
Have a good rest of your day.
you too. Shelby County Weed Commissioner Annual Report. Jay, you're up in the hot seat now. How are you doing today?
Good.
Good.
How about you guys?
Good. Good.
Alright. Got some. This is the one that you probably printed off too, but I wasn't for sure. This is the one that'll need signed eventually. In the back. These two. And the report.
Okay.
Just gonna start out and say I didn't have any really big, major problems. I just made a few phone calls more than anything, and it got taken care of pretty easily, which is good. I was just gonna say, like, I sat on a panel at one of the weed commissioner meeting there, and we're sitting pretty good in Shelby County for having problems for the weed commissioners. I mean, I sat there, it was like, whoa, listen to the stories. So kudos to Shelby County farmers and growers and whoever else helps with that problem, I guess.
Can get ugly.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to listen to their stories. It's like, holy cow.
You can't relate, can you, Bryce?
A little bit.
I was gonna say on the report, the chemicals that we use are pretty close to the same amount. A little bit less cost because I kind of cleaned the closet per se there on what we had left from last year, so that's good. And then I didn't see any change on the primary or secondary list. That's kind of about all I got on that. Really, I just noticed that the amount was quite a bit less when we cleaned up what we had, and our inventory is pretty low now, so next year will be a different story probably. And then the guys are spraying. I shut the spray truck down there after that big frost we had, and kind of still spraying some thistles. Just where I seen the problematic areas this summer mowing, I guess. Didn't notice any increase in the weeds from last year when I was out spraying about the same. Like I mentioned, like the right-of-way is in pretty good shape compared to a lot of different counties. I mean, you go around and look, you're I'm impressed for what we have. I think if we weren't out there, it would be,
Different story.
yeah, I mean, and it happens fast. I noticed from where we started to where we quit. I mean, from where we started, there's more growing already. I mean, so it's good that we're out there. It'll get out of hand fast. What else is I gonna
Is there
say?
any noxious weed that's causing you a concern, or something we really gotta keep an eye on?
Yeah, I had it drawn a blank on.
Leafy spur.
That's what it is. So I had it in my notes. I keep an eye on that. It's went down from where it was, and we just keep checking on it. It's kind of staying contained, which is good. But we have a map, actual, of the county of where it's at, and I sent
good.
them guys like probably 3 or 4 times there, and
Good.
so it's
I
starting.
know that was a big concern of yours a
Yeah.
few years ago.
It's staying pretty good. I mean,
Yeah, Carroll County, Sac County, it's terrible. It's really bad.
Spreading.
yeah, they talked about that a lot at the meetings with that weed. It's hopefully it doesn't get too crazy. We got the whole county sprayed, and then we got a jump for next year, so pretty pleased with that. And I was going to talk a little bit about the seeding. Tough year to seed again, obviously. I seeded, actually did a lot of seeding that was done the previous year, redid it, and it's just, I mean, it's tough to even get the cover crop to grow. You know, especially in little poor soil areas, it's rough. And wanted to mention I got 40 acres of natives in the ground. Got some pretty good timely rains on that right when I put it in, so it's looking pretty good. But I did want to mention, like on them seedings, the weeds, you can't put much cover crops in because it just doesn't work right with natives. It'll choke it out. So the weeds kind of grow, and you mow it to maintain the growth of it. I'm getting some problems with some of the growers spraying them weeds. I just wanted to mention that, but I think what I'm going to do is kind of wherever I plant them, I'm going to talk to the grower and say, hey, it's going to look ugly for a little bit, but it'll be worth it. I just wanted to mention that. I don't see anything that I want to talk about. I just wanted to say that we're pretty good shape here compared to other counties. And as a weed commissioner, pretty easy year this year. So
So the farmers make your job a little easier.
yeah, kudos to Shelby County. Seriously,
Yeah,
I mean,
good. No, that's good.
The most problems I had was CRP, getting weeds in CRP
Yeah.
when I was weed commissioner. Earlier on, it was shatter cane.
that's the
Back in
problem.
the day.
I think I had a couple problems with that, but just phone calls, and the guy actually took care of it, got most of it. So, and it's an inherited problem. He's working on it, I guess. That stuff don't go away in a year. So,
No, it doesn't. No. Okay, do you guys have any other questions for Jay?
Thanks, Jay. Good
Yeah,
job.
good job.
I can take that with me if you want.
Okay, first we need to approve it. Approve the commissioner's annual report. We have a motion.
Motion?
Second. Second by Charlie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Good job, sir.
I'll get it railed out.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda, tax abatement refund, Virtue Medical Center. Tony?
Good morning.
Good morning. Maybe just give us a brief little summary of what's going on here.
So this isn't actually my department, but I guess everyone understands where we are.
Right.
The hospital purchased an office building over on Morningside Drive. It's across the street from the hospital near Vet's building there. And they purchased it in August of 2022. And we received from the hospital an application for basically an exemption application as a charitable organization in February of 23 this year. And my office did make it exempt for the 23 assessment year, which is the first year I have any control over. It happened in 22, so as of January 1st of 23, it's exempt. So it's exempt going forward from the 23. The first tax bill that will actually affect will be the fall of 24. They received a tax bill this current fall, which, half of it's due back last month and then half will be due in March. And they're essentially asking you to abate those taxes. So there was taxes due, it's billed correctly. This is unlike those corrections I've asked for you a couple times this fall. So they're essentially asking for it to be abated. It's my understanding they have the authority to do so if they wish. They did receive some money at closing, which Marcus has seen, and I think Harlan has a revised statement or something like that of how much would be abated. But that's up to you folks. It was an accrued bill.
Right.
It gets, after the assessor's office, I guess you can get into, well, who owned it at the time and all of that sort of stuff, which is not the hat I wear, and I don't even have great understanding on that, so.
Marcus, what would you like to add to this?
Yeah, I think Tony kind of summarized it. They did receive some proration of taxes at the
Yeah,
closing.
$700 some.
Yeah, so that needs to be deducted
Yep.
because the previous owner would have owned it during that time, and that was basically the taxes for them. So that would be deducted from the amount abated.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, because it was 5307.52, and now the abatement would be 4557.52.
That sounds correct.
So, okay. Anything else? I mean, it looks like, yes, this is something we need to take care of. So, would you agree?
I agree.
Okay. Okay. Do I have a motion to abate the taxes for Emergency Medical Center?
The amount paid,
Right.
okay. It's $52.74 is what they actually paid to the county.
Minus the 7, whatever.
Yeah, 716.48, so it'd be
Yes.
4557.52.
Motion approved.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Charlie, second by Bryce to abate taxes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Thanks, gentlemen, for your input on that.
Since they paid it, so we will issue a check for a refund for that amount?
That's Marcus.
Or how do we,
Or just
you,
abate them.
you issue a refund for the amount of the taxes less the amount that they received?
Correct.
Yeah,
For the amount abated.
right,
Yep.
correct.
And, yeah, and so that'll be on the next
To them.
claims list.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a future bill to apply it to.
Right,
And I guess while I'm here, if I could mention, this spring here, we raised assessments more than I've ever seen it go up in the 17 years I've been here. Dramatic increases.
Right.
30 to 50% in the county, as you said, across the state as well. Looking at sales through August, we're 9% too low again. Meaning that after these new high values, people are paying that much more on a median ratio there. So things might be slowing down as far as the number of transactions, and I haven't looked at the September sales yet, but not seeing any obvious signs that the market's gone down yet or going down. Now, as far as what assessments will do, what happens this year isn't factored in because the next year we reset is for the 25 assessment year as of January 25. So what actually sells in Shelby County during 24, during next year. And we'll look at what it sells for compared to the assessed value. And if the median of all of those is more than 5% higher or lower than the assessed value, we'll make an adjustment. And if it needs to go down, we'll go down. If it's within a couple percent, we'll leave it alone. And if this trend continues for another year and a half, it'll go up again. So just all happens it all depends on what will happen next year. But just thought I'd let you know, I keep having everybody tell me, everybody knows the market's down. That's not what they're signing the papers on, at least until recently.
Charlene had said earlier too, not seeing a slowdown yet.
Yeah, maybe a slowdown, but not a decrease.
Right.
So we'll see what happens next year.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Tony.
Okay, next on the agenda, see you guys got any supervisor committee reports?
I have none.
Brandon and I attended MAPA last Wednesday, and they stated that they had 800,000 in TAP.
Yeah.
And it would be available probably for trails, whatever else in the area. And mostly,
Apply for the state one first.
right,
So the state one is due November 19th, I believe. Apply for that one first, and
Right.
then the local ones, January.
it was mostly policy we went over. And I got a meeting at West Central tonight.
Okay. Well, I'll give my IUB report or pipeline report. The IUB took a pause at the end of October, and they're going to be, not the end of October, the first part of October, they're going to be resuming, because the facility up at Fort Dodge was already booked, and they're resuming the hearings at 10 o'clock on November 6th. So then they're going to be doing hearings with the landowners the 6th, 7th, and 8th, if needed. If they get done the 6th or the 7th, and then they'll move right into, the last testimony is going to be rebuttal testimony from Summit. And that's scheduled for, if they use the 6th, 7th, and 8th, it'd be the 9th, 16th, and 17th. They hope to end everything. So, and I get asked all the time, okay, once that ends, how soon will they come with approval or disapproval? Who knows? I know Summit's asked that they have some kind of guidance by the first of the year. With this going into November, I'd be shocked, but I've been shocked about a lot of things, so we'll see what happens here. But that's the only really new news I have at this time, and there will be some Shelby County landowners that qualify to testify if they still choose to. And this also helps as far as hopefully a lot of the harvest will be behind us by that first week in November, and that's kind of what the goal was when they started this. They started it 2 months earlier than they anticipated to get away from harvest, and now we're right into it. So I think this will work out okay for everybody. Take a little pause. So, you guys have any questions on that? So, ever evolving. So, next on the agenda, Todd Valine, Shelby County Chamber. Morning, Todd.
Todd?
Morning. Morning. A few items to note. For the upcoming election, we have scheduled 2 candidate forums that will take place next week. The first one will be Tuesday, October 24th, and that'll be at 6 o'clock, and that'll be in Elkhorn at their library, and that will be for the Elkhorn City Council candidates. They have one more candidate than they have seats available, so we'll hold a forum for that.
What time?
6 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
And then next Thursday, the 26th, again at 6 p.m. out in our chamber atrium, we're going to have a candidate forum for the at-large Lincoln Ward Council seat here in Harlan, because we have 2 candidates for 1 seat. And then at either of the forums, if there are other individuals that are on the ballot, they just don't have a competitive race, but they'd like to take a minute or two to speak, we'll also offer that up to them. So,
Pardon me, did you say that Thursday was out to 26th?
the 26th,
Okay. At 6 p.m.?
6 p.m., and we're going to do it out in our atrium.
Okay. What about school board? They do anything for that?
We don't have anything competitive on this ballot.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and then on the 24th, we're going to have a ribbon cutting at 11 o'clock in the morning. That's going to be for the new Mercury Medical Center Unique Boutique. So it's now located at the main clinic entrance off of Chapburn, and it's just a complete remodel, a lot of new stuff in there, so it looks great. So we're looking forward to celebrating that with them with a ribbon cutting. Still want to remind the folks that we are looking for baked goods to use for Harvest Fest on October 28th. Any donation of baked goods can be dropped off at the chamber office on the 26th or the 27th. And then what we do is we have a free will bake sale during Harvest Fest, and all the proceeds from that go to buy 2024 pool passes for some kids that are in need. So
2 weeks ago, I had the chance to attend the Iowa Trail Summit, and I sat in on a panel of public and private groups working together on trail development. It went really well, of course. You know, we're having ours is much more difficult to do than a lot of the other ones. A lot of the other ones are still using rail land to put their trails in. You know, so you don't have individual landowners all along your trail and everything like we do. But it was a great discussion. Took away some good notes that will help us out. And then we also recently were awarded an Iowa DOT grant for just a little over $400,000. We had put in for 7, and so we will still need to raise those additional funds to complete what we put in for all of our phase 2. And then the only other thing is I'll be in Altoona Thursday and Friday with the Iowa Area Development Group. So they're kind of similar to IEDA, other than they work through the RECs. And big topics of discussion are going to be recruiting people to rural areas. So I'm going to sit on a couple of table discussions about that. Okay. Other than that, that's it for the chamber for now.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Todd.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have a couple events. We need liquor license, Lucky Wine Slushes Incorporated. Can you give us some update on that?
All the paperwork checks out. There's no problems with it anywhere. They wouldn't let, with their...
Where's it going to take place at?
I'm sure.
Todd, you know?
Oh, a couple of events out at Rosa Blonda that she wants to participate.
Both of them are out there?
Yeah, that she just wants to participate in as a vendor. Yeah.
Be nice if we had some samples.
Yeah. In the summer.
Todd, do you know the event dates?
I know one was a ladies' night out event, and I think the other is they've been
Fairly
holding-
soon?
Yeah, it'll be soon. Yeah, because they're holding some like live music events on, especially on Friday and Saturday nights,
Okay.
through October, and then I think they have something else planned for November too.
How long is the liquor license for?
The 20th of October to the 25th for the one, and the 24th to the 29th for the other one.
Yeah.
5 days. 5 days. Okay, 5 days. Okay, we'll see how that goes. You guys have any questions on that? Hopefully they have good weather with that.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion to approve both the 5-day liquor licenses?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion by Bryce, second by Charlie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. Next on secondary roads report, Brandon, good morning.
Good morning. So, start out.
The blue one.
In my pocket. Okay, so I think Steve, we talked yesterday, but had some questions about M16 and the patching we're doing out there. So
Yep.
I just kind of wanted to explain what we're doing, and visual's always best, I think. So out there, especially between Highway 44 and F32, it's I believe the north of Shelby has macadam base, so it's 3-inch clean rock as a base. That stretch in between 44 and 32 has an asphalt treated base, so it's not doing as well as the south portion. So I think if you guys have driven it, you see there's lots of areas that look like this. Some of the base has failed. We've Durapatched it several times. It's probably got cold patch in it, and we're just trying to string it along. Well, now we're seeing those, and in the wrong agricultural condition, if there's semis hitting it a lot or a lot of ag traffic, they turn into that. And it doesn't take any time to turn into that. I mean, it can happen overnight. And we're getting to the time right now where our Durapatcher, we're gonna put it away because it's too cold to use it. So we're kind of limited to bagged cold patch, which is a poor fix for that, but that's about all that we have. So we'll go out there, we'll remove all these pieces, clean it up as best we can. There's a side view of it, or that might be another one.
Is there a
that
chance
happened.
this could still get fixed yet this fall?
So we're patching those right now
Right.
to prevent that.
Right, this is just an example.
That's an example that happened prior to
Right.
us starting to patch. So we take bag cold patch, we try to roll it in as good as we can, but if there's still semis hitting it, it squishes out the side. There's just nothing there to hold it in. So we have 10-point in right now, fixing the road. Here's an example of what they're doing. This is what got dug out, the patch in the background. And then I think this shows best. The subsurface is not the best. I mean, it's got the consistency of Play-Doh. So we're doing a nominal 9-inch asphalt patch with at least 4 inches of rock underneath it, and more if needed. We're supplying the rock for it. They just go get it from Panama, and Chris is out there. If it needs more base, we just pay for more base. So as you can see, it's a little bit more than 9 inches, but you can see here's the surfacing and then the asphalt treated base down here. And then they pack it in just like that.
I'm sure when they get into it, it ends up being longer than we
Oh, absolutely. It was longer, and then we had planned on just doing the outside because that's all it's breaking up. Well, then after discussions, so the road's a little bit wheel rutted, and if we try to tie in just where it's busted, we're trying to tie in a patch into where it's coming out of the wheel rut, and it just doesn't make any sense. So we moved it another foot, which this is all farm to market funds. Yes. This is all farm to market funds, so we had extra in there, and why not do it right when we're there? So this has the first lift in it, but then they actually have a paver out there. They feed the paver with skid loaders, and then they lay the patch down, and then roll it in. I believe, yeah, they're rolling it in there. And they might not ride the best. I know there were some concerns about that, Steve, but ride quality, the rest of the road is rough too. And we're fixing subsurface issues, so in 2025 we can come in and just mill 3 inches off and put 3 inches of asphalt on the
So
road.
then it'll all be smooth.
Yes.
We're trying to get a base in those
Yep,
bad spots.
And we'll kind of monitor it with that pavement planned. If we have other spots that are getting bad, we can add that to the construction plans and have them patched before they overlay it. Ideally, we would have done that, but we had spots that weren't gonna last 2 more
Right,
years.
no, they need to be. Yeah.
So we're getting the worst of the worst right now. They should be done by Friday, I believe. It's kind of give and take with Western, because when they're making intermediate mix for Highway 59, we can use that to patch with, but once they switch to surface mix, 10-point will be done out there. So the worst of the worst will be fixed. I think it has been fixed, but we're gonna continue on until we can't get mixed.
So when would they start back up again then?
We would be done with this contract, so we could add stuff. We could probably do one for next year, or like I said, would just do the rest.
But if we have more to do in that section, how does that?
We can
get
get
done?
emergency patches done. They can come in and do an emergency patch, or if it's not in the winter, we can patch them decently. We keep a good eye on them. If we see them starting to go, we'll get out there, throw a cold patch in, Dura patch it, and then mark those to patch before we have it overlaid.
So what percent will they have everything done that you had planned that they do on that road?
They're over what we had by quantity. We're gonna stay north of 44 just because south is in a lot better shape. And talking to Chris this morning, they should get 95% done at least of what we had planned.
So then like the areas you showed us earlier, then will they get fixed right next year then before we do the overlay?
We're fixing those right now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's.
But I mean, if some other ones would show up.
Yes, yeah, we'll fix them, we'll add those to the plans and just have, I'm sure if Western or Henningsen or anyone got the paving, they'd have 10-point come in.
So if something
do
comes up
asphalt
between now
patches.
and 25, that needs done, that ain't on our radar
Yeah.
screen now, we would still get that done.
Yeah, we'd either do a local emergency patch, which there are some patches out there that we had 10 Point come in and do last year, or we try to keep it as good as we can. But I mean, we feel pretty confident that we've got the worst of the worst, and most of the rest should last till 25. I mean, you never know with soft spots,
No.
Bryce. You know, they just can activate and decide one day that they didn't like the traffic that was on them and the subsurface condition and go, so. But, no, I just
appreciate
wanted
that.
to explain
That's
it
good
to you
see.
guys because I
Yeah.
know there'd been some discussions that
Yeah.
the patches aren't, and that road, it's pretty
Wavy.
cupped out and washed, or not washboarded, but cupped out and rutted. And, you know, it's hard to match a patch to an imperfect
It
surface,
didn't
so.
help having that as a detour this
It
summer.
would- Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, the DOT didn't do it any favors with that Highway 44 detour, so. Yeah, so I just kinda wanted to
Yeah,
start with that.
appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Other than that, I kinda wanted to talk about a couple grants. I'd emailed you guys maybe a week and a half ago about a bridge grant.
Yep.
So I went through some more iterations. Basically, it has to be on the QBL, which is the qualifying bridge list. And I pulled that up. We only have 10 bridges that are on that list. And of those, they want the cost to be estimated at 4.5 times our highway bridge program funding a year, which is about $350,000 a year. So basically, by process of elimination, we only have one bridge that would be eligible. It's a pony truss on a rock road. So, you know, trying to decide if, I'm not sure it would be selected. You know, it's kind of one of those fringe ones where everybody else has bridges on pavement that have 1,000 vehicles a day, and we would have a 25 vehicle pony truss. So I have all the paperwork filled out. I just went ahead and did it, but you know, we can think about it a little more. So we're due Thursday by noon. So everything's done. It could be turned in, but
What do you think?
It'd be really nice to get that bridge replaced because it is a long pony truss on, you know, it's something we'll never do with HBP funding. It just doesn't make any sense to replace that.
Well, then we should probably try.
Yeah, okay, well,
That's my,
yeah, I mean,
Is it something we can do ourselves or too big?
it's too big. I mean, it's the one west of Fiscus is the bridge that it would be. And it's on a really weird alignment. We would change the alignment and do a lot of bank work and
Yep.
the existing bridge is about 150 foot long, and we put a 250 foot bridge back, just because the banks are straight up, and it's not a fun bridge to inspect, because the banks are straight up and down, and getting down and up, it's fun. But, it would be a good one to get on the radar and get replaced now that there's a way south out of Fiscus, and then Audubon County closed 2 bridges on the other roads, so this is the only other way, and I think it's 6 tons all vehicles right now, so. Yeah, we can submit it, or I can see, I'd talk to a couple other counties, see what they were kinda thinking, and I can probe them again, see what they're thinking. But that was kinda the one good news, bad news. The other 2, we were part of a $1 million aid grant. I actually wasn't 100% sure that we were gonna be at it. I'd expressed interest in it, but we got told that we got it. And basically that is they outfitted a steel drum roller with a bunch of sensors, and they want to come and roll all of your rock roads. And it measures 2 to 3 feet down the strength of the soil. So it can show you if you have a bad spot, you can either mechanically go in and fix it, or go in, you know, you can rock it in the spring. You can pinpoint all your spots that are gonna eat rock and be worse. It's only $1 million grant, and there's 22 counties involved. We had a discussion about it. I guess I'm not in favor of doing all of our rock roads. The grant would cover $62, and they estimated it would be about $150 a mile. So they were asking the counties to come up with $83 a mile. And I just don't see that spending $60,000 to identify spots on 10, 15 traffic count roads makes much sense to us, because we're gonna focus on the farm to market roads, the roads that have 100 plus
I was gonna
vehicles a
say-
day.
You need, if you're gonna spend the money to find out where the problems are, then you need to have the money there to fix them.
Right. So I've talked with a couple other county engineers. They feel the same as I do, that, we should pare back and just do
Farm to market.
farm to market, or select over 40 traffic count or something. Some caveat, or there's some roads that might not have the highest traffic count, but we have an issue with them all the time. And
That's what I was just gonna say.
beneficial.
Not that we won't go there down the road.
Right, and I think they're trying to show that this is a beneficial thing, so then more money, another grant, a larger grant will be given, and it'll be done in the future. But if anybody sees it, I think they want to get started right away next spring, so they've sent spreadsheets and stuff, and I kind of won't need to tell them what, we're planning on doing, but just wanted to let you guys know. And if you see a steel roller going down the rock road, it's not an accident. We're out doing.
That's kind of a nice
testing, so
idea, because it could really save you some money if they're tearing up the whole road.
I think so.
Getting a base in them, you could pinpoint some areas.
Right. Well, it'd be nice to see the strength that we're gaining by pulling these roads in and
True,
incorporating
too.
rock into them
Yep.
and packing them back in.
Okay.
And then there's one more grant, there's safety plan grant. 97 counties went in together to update a safety plan for each county, because to apply for the safety money within the IIJA, the infrastructure bill, you have to have a safety grant. And they really like to see that when you're applying for any other grants. So it's under contract now, and they're gonna talk to us, and we'll get a safety grant here in the near future, or a safety plan put together.
Okay.
So that was, we're part of two of them, and the other one, I think, if we do apply, we might have a pretty good shot. And if that bridge on the first one, it is on a farm to market road, so if it was on a local road, we'd have to bankroll it and then get paid back. If it's on farm to market account will bankroll it, and then the grant will backfill the farm to market account. So that's a lot more palatable than paying $2 million at a local and then waiting to get reimbursed. Other than that, excavator crew, one's working on Apple south of 44, the other's on M47. We had some concrete tiles that came detached, so we're relaying those and getting them strapped back on. And the bridge crew is installing riprap and beams soon on the bridge on 800 east of M56. So, and then talking with the Western, it's kind of playing it by ear. They think they're going to be done with intermediate on 59 by the end of the day Wednesday, but they lost some time in between the last time we talked, so it might be Friday. So then their surfacing gets pushed back. So we'll see what the weather's doing by the time they potentially want to start. But I did talk to their superintendent, and she assured me that when the plant is shut down, they're not going to move it. They're just going to leave it here, and we'd be the first project in the spring. So,
I think that would be the best.
right.
At this point.
And we talked. We read the spec on rubblization. They can't rubblize what they can't overlay within 2 days. So, there was some discussion on that, because there was another county that did rubblization, and then the contractor's plant broke down, and it just kind of sat there for a while. And I said, we really need to follow the spec, especially in the fall when potentially it couldn't get overlaid, because temperature's got to be 35 and rising to pave. And if it decides to be 34 or stay at 35, it's
Not
that
good.
can really kill you. So
Okay.
that's all I have for today.
I think now would be a good time, just a little reminder, the landfill and the county have land lease farm auction bids process, doing something different this year. So you can pick a packet up if you're interested for the landfill or the county farm up at Mark's, the auditor's office. It has the lease, fertilizer, everything's there. It needs to be in by November 17th. And we'll open it here on the 21st. So,
There's more ads being placed in the paper too.
okay, and that brings another question. like say week, 10 days before it's due, was you gonna run some like radio ads or something?
There is, there's
I
schedule.
heard them now, I didn't know if it would still be, because I know how it is, people wait till the last
I
minute,
did
they're
it
busy
at
now.
the very beginning, and then I'll do it
Okay,
right after the 1st of November.
okay, okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Brandon. Next, auditor's report, TIF department certificate for reimbursements for fiscal year '25.
Yeah, what this is a loan we made last year, as we do every year. And the money spent by secondary roads that was paid out of the TIF fund, and the total last year was $91,040. And so we just need to certify this, and I use these numbers to get reimbursed for that amount next fiscal year, in 2025. We're always a year behind. So I just need approval of that amount. I do have all the sheets here showing the amount spent and everything
Total amount,
else. $91,040.
secondary roads. Okay, do I have a motion to approve this certification for the TIF?
Motion approved.
Motion by Charlie, second by Bryce. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Okay. I also, election's coming up, and it's hot and heavy, taking up the majority of our time again. The ballots are due to arrive today, which is good because the first day that we can start absentee ballot. Absentee voting starts tomorrow in our office. We're supposed to receive the ballots today, so it's, that's just, that's the way the turnaround is in city school elections. In fact, there's a provision in Iowa code where if we do not have them, we do not have to start voting until we receive the ballots. But we're supposed to get them today, according to UPS tracking. Having an IT person will hopefully make the transition easier for all the election employees, because we have new software on our poll books that are used on election day, and also new tabulators. The instruction books are identical for all of these, but just a different look. I think everybody's familiar when they see new software, sometime a little panic will set in, and having that IT person in place should really help a lot. The bank that handles the payroll deposits for Shelby County has installed new payroll software. Melissa Arkfeld, Shelby County payroll clerk, she's been very diligent in getting the process started correctly for payroll payments and deposits. I mean, she's just been nothing but fantastic getting that done, been right on top of things. And also Angel Poor, Taryn Knapp, and Cindy Pash have all been doing their parts in election preparation also. And Angel Poor with the administration of the overall voter records, and Taryn Knapp and Cindy Pash are preparing the new equipment and the precinct election official education that'll start next week. We'll have the trainings down here this week and the next.
Okay.
And I have so much confidence in all their abilities. I'm blessed that way as auditor to have employees like that. New budget amendments are going to be needed, and the process of getting those completed for approval and publication is already started. And also, there's been a letter sent to an ARPA grantee asking for it to be signed. And this letter would acknowledge, it'd be an acknowledgement of the grantee that the ARPA funds will not be used by them. And I haven't received it back yet, so I just wanted to keep everybody updated.
Did you have a date on there when you wanted it back by?
No,
Okay.
no.
Well,
I received a
if you
phone
send a
call.
reminder out to them, I would put something on there then.
Yeah,
I need to know whether
I
it's
received a
gonna
phone
be-
call saying they weren't gonna use it. So I thought, well, let's get something signed.
Writing, yeah.
And I
No
sent
need
it
to.
out with a self-addressed stamped envelope, and nothing's back.
Okay.
So we're working on it.
Okay.
And that's about all I've got.
Just a reminder, on November 14th, which we're having a canvas of the short meeting, We're gonna have our first budget workshop with Chris Nelson, Mark, Taryn, our new budget director, and our board to go over where we were, where we're at, and where we're going. And also, Mark, just as a reminder, in the last spring, I think you sent out a reminder to the board that we need to revisit the GIS contract with the city and HMU. And so we need to start those conversations, so when December comes, we know where we're at with that.
And they do too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
just a reminder, and if there's any other contracts sitting out there that is not on the radar screen that we take a look at. So, anything else, you guys? Okay, thank you. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.